so that we could go back infinitely and find out why the other toaster broke, and then why, and so you can ask these why questions. There was nothing that could happen to change that. Okay, so of necessity, he woke up. There was no other way that it could happen. Of course he's going to wake up in a bad mood this morning. We could have known that 3 weeks ago if we had, just known about the toasters. We could have predicted this, right? It's scientific. So how you treat people is based on whether or not you have toast, or whether or not you put enough sugar on your cornflakes, or what happened to you when you were a child. It's not your fault. Nothing is your fault. It is all simply what must occur. So if it's the only way that it can be, of course it's the best of all possible worlds, because it's the only possible world.
Isn't that a lot like the professor's theory?
Yes. Pangloss?
Yeah.
You got it. Exactly. Pangloss is Leibniz, and Voltaire intends for us to take it that way. Yes. Voltaire creates Pangloss as an imitation of Leibniz. And he's showing us how absolutely ridiculous it is, right? Because then it's not just about toasters, it's about when Jacques goes in the water, right? So, if Jacques down there in the water, do we save him? No, because the Bay of Lisbon was created for him to drown in. Because it's the best of all possible. He's supposed to drown. That's just part of the harmony of the things bouncing around. Which creates apathy. I mean, think about it. The apathy that comes about as a result of that. It's not predestination. It's scientific determinism. It's scientific determinism or philosophical optimism. And so it's like, oh, it's supposed to happen. Of course there are people starving. There's supposed to be people starving. So let's finally look at Candide here. We're going to have to talk about Candide more on Wednesday. Okay. This is when I start going, I've got to talk faster or something. Okay, it's hysterical. And now did you think it was funny? Did y'all think it was funny?
Indeed.
Yeah.
It was
Yes.
weird.
It was kind of
Very
weird.
different. Too many people coming back to life.
Too many people coming.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Think about the novels. That's a good point. Too many people came back to life.
It's a soap opera.
It's like a soap opera. Yeah. Or it's like he's making fun of how do novels normally end? Like the typical novel that you might read.
Happily ever after.
Happily ever after. If somebody dies, they usually don't come back to life. But, there are these extraordinary things. It's just or TV shows. Just when the bomb is about to explode, right? I mean, it's going 3, 2, and the guy disconnects the bomb, right? I mean, how many people actually put little timers on bombs and count them down? Why would they do that? So it's that kind of thing that's unrealistic, right? There's this unrealistic intervention, okay? So he's making fun of that unrealistic intervention kind of thing. And he's making fun of the people coming back to life. But if we look at our characters, look at page 520. Let's look at page 520. The very last line. We have Pangloss the professor, who gave instruction in metaphysico-theologico-cosmolunigology. And if you look at your footnote at the bottom of that page, footnote number 5, that you so wisely figured out. Footnote number 5 on page 520 says, the loony, buried in this burlesque word, corresponds to a buried nigo, a booby in the French. And I can't walk and read. Christian Wolff, disciple of Leibniz, invented and popularized the word cosmology. The catchphrases in the following sentence, echoed by popularizers of Leibniz, make reference to the determinism of his system. It's all determined, predetermined, not predestined, predetermined. Okay? It's linking of cause with effect, and it's optimism. It's all going to work out for what's great, not. But anyhow, he's making fun of Leibniz. So Pangloss is Leibniz then. And he proved admirably that there cannot possibly be an effect without a cause, and that this is the best of all possible worlds. The baron's castle was the best of all castles, and his wife was the best of all possible baronesses. And then he said, it's the ridiculousness of noses were made to hold up spectacles. You think about, why do you wear glasses? Because there's something wrong with your eyes. Oh, no, then there must not really be something wrong with your eyes. It must be right, and I don't know. It's just this infinite regression of absurdity. So Candide listened attentively, and he believed until, let's see, what did he observe Dr. Pangloss doing with a maid?
Having fun.
Having fun, yes, or giving a lesson in experimental physics. Hello. So he was giving, are you in this class?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I wasn't, okay. All right, welcome.
Thank you.
So the lesson in experimental physics. All right, so then eventually they get kicked out, and what happens to Candide? What? Goes to the Bulgars. What are the Bulgars? What's going on with them? They're fighting people. All right. Chapter 3 on page 523. So what about this war? What happens to people in this war? They get slaughtered. Is that good or bad?
I would say it's bad.
It's good
Why is it good?
because it's the best of all possible worlds, so it has to be good.
It's got to be good, but we're going, this is terrible. Now, how do we know that Voltaire is saying really it's bad when he's saying it's good? I mean, how do you know that he doesn't mean what he's saying? If we look at page 523, first the cannons battered down about 6,000 men. This is like the third or fourth line of chapter 3. First the cannons battered down about 6,000 men on each side. Then volleys of musket fire removed from the best of worlds about 9,000 or 10,000 rascals who were cluttering up its surface. The bayonet was a sufficient reason for the demise of several thousand others. He just refers to these people who died as rascals who are cluttering up the earth's surface. The events, I mean, how humane is that? Not very. And so it's absurd in the same way that eating babies is absurd. So it's satire. He's being satirical. Also, he is choosing from some of the most horrific events that really happened. And some of them he witnessed, Voltaire witnessed. And so he's choosing from some of these horrific incidents and writing about them in a way that perhaps, you know, the wealthy or the people in charge who never see this face to face, they might say, "Whew, good, you killed all those people. That's a whole lot of people that we don't have to worry about for enemies or something." You know, they might that might be kind of their gut reaction. And so he's writing it that way, but he's writing it so that they go, "Oh, that's really what it looks like, huh, when I think that way." Now, he meets his old philosophy tutor in chapter 4 on page 525, and we talked about how Pangloss, what is it that Pangloss has? Do you remember? Syphilis. Yes. And he asks Pangloss how he got this horrible disease. What was the sufficient reason? And at the bottom of 525, the third paragraph from the bottom on 525, "Alas," said he, "it was love. Love, the consolation of the human race, the preservation of the universe, the soul of all sensitive beings, love, gentle love." And so he explains, where did he get this?
From his maid.
From the maid that he was demonstrating experimental physics on, yes. He says, this is the last paragraph on 525. Pangloss replied as follows: "My dear Candide, you knew Paquette, that pretty maidservant to our august baroness. In her arms I tasted the delights of paradise, which directly caused these torments of hell from which I am now suffering. She was infected with the disease." Now, did it just originate with her?
No.
Okay, let's look at the source of this and see who he picks on. He picks on everyone in this lineage, okay? He got it from Paquette, who got it from, where did she get it?
Franciscan.
What's a Franciscan? A monk. Oh my. Should a monk have given anything of this sort to Paquette May? No. Okay. A Franciscan it's one particular order of monk. Okay. There are also Dominicans and Jesuits and others. Well, I don't think Jesuit monks. A Franciscan who took the pains to trace it back to its source, for he had it from
An elderly countess.
oh my, who picked it up from, who got it from, okay, there's a captain, and he got it from, what's a marquise? Last word on 525. A marquise would be a noblewoman, okay? You could just say a noblewoman. Where did she get it?
I'm not married.
What's a page?
A boy.
A young boy, kind of an errand boy. Who did he get it from?
Oh, no.
Oh, what are Jesuits?
A priest.
A priest. Anybody know where there are some Jesuits?
At Spring Hill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, go right.
That was awesome.
Yeah. So it was a young boy who got it from a Jesuit priest. Yes. Another order of priests.
It was a girl boy pattern up until the
Yeah.
boy and the.
Yeah.
Write that in my book. Just to let you know, not even on my
So
book.
during his novitiate, got it directly from a companion of Christopher Columbus. Oh, my goodness. Okay. So yes, he's picking on the explorers, he's been picking on Columbus, on Jesuits, on Dominicans, on nobility. And then but then Pangloss says, it's not, he says, who is this from? Like the devil? Isn't the devil at the root of the whole thing? Which one would say, if the church is that corrupt, well, maybe it is the devil. And he says, no, it's the best of all possible worlds, because since he connects it to Christopher Columbus, he says, if I hadn't gotten this, we should have neither chocolate nor cochineal. It's in the middle of the long paragraph right after that. Chocolate comes from the New World, and cochineal is a red dye, an expensive red dye. So he says, it's worth it. Now we've got chocolate and cochineal. Okay. He's
So, in
not.
other words, if you didn't hash this SUV, America would have been found. Is that what he's saying?
Exactly. Wow. It's ridiculous.
What are you suffering from here?
I'm glad that
Because
because
true.
True
patriotism of America.
Okay. Next time, we'll finish
No, that was